I want them to be redeemable for a special alt art version of the card.
Oh,
That's one really simple way. The other way is if you own them on the blockchain, I want you to be able to get first in line for our future NFT launches.
all right, it's working now.
It's working now for sure?
It's working now for sure.
You ready for me?
I'm ready.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo Be With You.
Minus Mitch.
Minus Mitch. A Mondo 1K memorial podcast. We used to talk about TCGs. Now we hold remembrance services for those who have been left behind. I am George, the former cheerleader of Mondo 1K. Betrayed by all his friends, except for Wall Street. Shout out to Wall Street, Mondo 1K. I am joined by the destroyer of the world, Louis DeGeorge.
I had no responsibility in this.
No,
in this.
I wish it was you. I wish you were the one to dance on my grave, but it was Zach and Rudy.
All right. Welcome to May the Zoo Be With You.
It's a late night podcast, so this would be wild.
We let's start off with the what's going on. So Mitch is joining us for the Metazoo Minute, which is coming up at the end of this podcast with Mike Waddell, the creator and owner of Metazoo.
Goat.
That Metazoo Minute lasted an hour and 15 minutes. So we that was longer than we anticipated when we were getting ready to do the podcast. And Mitch was not able to make it to this second session for our podcast. So it's just going to be George and I today. We're going to talk about some stuff. There's been a crazy...
It's been the worst week of George's fab life.
It's been a rough week in the
Mondo 1K world.
In the Mondo 1K world. We had two things we want to talk about. One is the Team Covenant Monarch sale, where they sold 1,000 boxes. Oh, we don't know how many technically. On day 2, they had 575 boxes left of Monarch First Edition at $200 a box. How long after release are we? 6 months.
6 months.
6 months after release. And then we also wanted to talk about Rudy's patron post, in which, what was the quote that he said?
Crisis of confidence, Louis. Crisis of confidence.
A crisis of confidence in investors and in LGSs. So, did he hit LGSs? I don't remember.
Oh yeah. He went for it. He went for it in the letter, and then today's video, he took my ashes that Zach had burned in the Mondo 1K urn and dispersed them all over, I don't know, Wizards of the Coast, just to rub insult to injury.
So we want to talk about that. I want to ask the question, I think, to us. I want us to talk about this question. Do we have a hyperbole or a massive exodus of investor confidence and LGS confidence? I want to talk about that.
So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the new set. But let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Positive George. Let the record reflect. Positive George. Negative Louis. Mondo 1K.
I mean, I already made a big video about this, so cool.
Don't care. Nobody cares about your videos. Only mine. Okay. So let's get into it. So let's set the scene for Team Covenant not helping George win his bet with Louis. And I want you to know, Louis, this is nasty of you. You first make this pathetic video begging whales to buy crew, and now you pay Zach and Rudy to dunk on Monarch.
And I paid James White to make Crucible Unlimited go out of print to hype up Crucible First Edition.
Like this has been a pathetic victory by you. I hope you enjoy it, but I've been
working very hard at it behind the scenes.
Clearly. That's fine. Good for you. So Team Covenant said, hey, you guys, we got a few boxes laying around the back from canceled orders and for orders that we held back for damages. And we got these boxes, obviously, at release day. And we didn't want to tank the market, so we didn't sell them immediately. Hold on. I'm going to say what he said first. Then I'm going to go in. Then we can discuss. Then he said that they've been trying to sell it to singles and locals, and they finally got it down to a manageable number which is what they put online. So let me, and like, before we start this, I think you and I are in complete agreement about this.
Yes.
If we're to pick one store that's direct, that does things normally very right,
yeah,
it's Team Covenant.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted. This is what I was trying to interject with. Is like Team Covenant is known in our community. Team Covenant. Those of you who don't know who Team Covenant is, they have the pre-order subscription for first edition boxes at MSRP at $96 a box. Used to be $76.90, but I think after Monarch they made it MSRP. Subscription service. Recently they also changed it to 24 boxes per person. They have been in our opinion a fantastic retailer and a retailer doing things right.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, that's what makes this confusing.
Yeah. And
like if this had been Channel Fireball, we would be like, yeah, they held boxes. This is easy. This is hard to figure out.
Right. And like the difference here is like Channel Fireball was selling at $550 on release week and Team Covenant wasn't.
And I'll be honest, that's what confuses me.
Yeah.
They had pre-sold these boxes to customers at 96. And they said customers couldn't pay even though on release day the boxes were $500.
Right.
Who's not coming up with that $100?
I don't know.
And there were a couple big orders. I was, somebody's like, there could have been 100 boxes. I'm like, okay, so you would have been charged $10,000 for $50,000,
right?
And you have 3 days to figure out payments,
right?
I never got a phone call saying, "Hey, George, I got 100 boxes of Monarch. Can you pay me $20,000 for it?"
Yeah,
I would have done it.
Yeah. Let me
be very clear. The person who promised to buy the box from Team Covenant should have made that phone call. Zach and Team Covenant have no obligation to call George to buy those boxes at that price.
And I think there were some people that were upset about like them not putting boxes on the market back 6 months ago. I mean, I know I was refreshing Team Covenant daily, hourly to try to get more boxes. And like, I understand retailers hold boxes back for, canceled pre-orders or the way that shipment works. I mean, when I do my bundles, I usually keep back like 5 to 10 bundles just in case.
I keep back a few.
Right. This is the issue with this for me. The biggest story here is the Monarch print size. So like they didn't come out and say the number of boxes that they put in the sale. They did they said that they thought they were going to sell in 24 hours as cases for $800, right? They didn't even come close.
Oh, they did. They thought
there was going to be a 24-hour sale. So after 24 hours, they said, "Hey, it's now open to anybody." So Louis got on and I added boxes 10 at a time until it told me that I couldn't add 10 more, and then I added 5, and then I added 2, and then I added 1, and the total was 575 boxes.
I think this says to me 2 things. First, the print run for Monarch is astronomical.
It's massive. The point I was going to make is like if one store, and let's say that Team Covenant is the same print size as Channel Fireball, which I doubt that they are anywhere close, but let's pretend like if one store, let's just assume that everything Zach said is true because like we like Zach and I don't know. I don't want to be the guy that goes against Team Covenant. That's not my thing. Team Covenant's done a lot of great stuff for the community. I assume the best in Zach that he's speaking truth. Then their boxes that they got back are 1,000. That means that they must have had what 30,000
boxes?
You think
5,000 boxes?
Oh, I think more than that.
I mean,
George, they kept 1,000 back. You think 5,000?
No. So some of those were canceled orders at people who didn't pay.
1,000 boxes, and you think they only had 5,000?
I mean, I don't know. Louis, I agree with you. Here's what I've been saying to people all week. We're missing some information.
Yes,
we're missing something.
We are definitely missing some.
I don't understand. 1,000 boxes ish. Because we don't know the exact number, but 1,000 boxes ish. Louis, that's I know of 5 total stores in the United States who got more than that, and that's the amount they had left over. from canceled pre-orders and from people and from held back for damages.
I think the biggest people that this information hurt, other than Mond 1K fanatics, is the stores who got hosed on the West Coast. Like the poor stores who got allocated 50 boxes and sold to their customers, and then they got their actual boxes and they ended up getting 10. That's what drives me nuts, is like there was 1,000 boxes sitting in this warehouse in Tulsa when like people didn't, and meanwhile boxes are $600, people can't get the product, and like what's going on? Like,
we have a mutual friend in California who ordered 2,000 boxes, got allocated 200 and received 24.
Yeah.
How can this happen and that happen?
And how is that how's it fair? And like, I get it, Team Covenant got in early, like I get that, and I hope that people aren't just listening to this and being like, you guys are like, I've said it multiple times, I'm a big fan of Team Covenant.
They will not hear that part, just so you know.
I know they won't, but like, how is it fair to the stores who, like, I don't know, man.
I will say it again, and I'll say it once again, just so Louis doesn't yell at me later. If you got to pick a direct store, Team Covenant's the best.
Yes.
But this is the problem with having the Golden 4.
Right.
This is the problem. Like, they got early access. They got early access to numbers, right? They were allocated months before I was. Months before Louis was. Months. I
wasn't in the store back then, so I can't really. Yeah.
Screw you.
I wasn't
before I was.
Yeah.
They pay lower price than I pay, is the rumor. They got free promos from LSS, exclusive.
Yep. And now
like,
they get
again, they're the best
boxes.
And they had 1,000 boxes left over.
6 months later, they opened them for singles and sold them local. So maybe that number was 2,000. You know what I mean? Like, I know we're conjecturing here, but like,
I mean, like, I almost said a bad word. I almost made you edit. That poor soul in California with 24 boxes who pre-sold 200.
Yep.
He should have gotten more.
Yep. So
and this has been my point. Be like, oh, you're so negative. Screw you. I am trying to help, and like you can see that this is what Rudy has been saying. This crisis in confidence is here. Only a few of us have the cojones to talk about it. Frankly.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, here's
this
the
is
deal.
the type of thing. This is the type of thing that breaks the confidence.
Of course it does, because that dude got wrecked.
Yep.
That dude in California got wrecked, and there's a lot more of that dude than anybody else. Like, I got cut 80% on Monarch.
You still got a ton of boxes though,
and I'm not complaining about my allocation.
The LGS that I go to here, they got 4 boxes. 4 boxes, and like, they're a newer store, sure, but like, they got 4 boxes, and like,
this is the problem with the Golden 4.
Yeah. And
I will say again, I think LSS needs to tell people, I'm going to grow the game through online stores if that's their game plan.
Yeah, 100%. And like, Team Covenant has done great stuff for the community and will continue to do great stuff.
Team Covenant is amazing.
And if there's a store that should be direct, like you're saying, it is Team Covenant.
Yep.
Now the question is, what should have Team Covenant done differently, in our opinion? In my opinion, one of the biggest issues was that they didn't have a limit during Monarch for boxes. So they probably felt like they couldn't put more boxes on the market because they would have sold out instantly to one whale that would have, bought them all at $96 and then oversold.
Shout out to Will Dale. Continue.
And they've already solved that. They've now put the 24 box, limit in place. So I think the better move would have been to, after those 3 days and the payment wasn't processed, put them up and put a limit on, for 1 case per person back then. So all of us who were trying to get boxes. So 1 case, what is that? 250 more people could have gotten boxes at MSR at.
MSRP. I don't get it. Like he said, I didn't release them because I didn't want to tank the market. And you release them now?
Yeah,
the market was a lot healthier right after Monarch than it is
this
now.
Wrecks. Like, okay, so you know what this does?
The market.
This destroys the Monarch market.
Oh, it's gone.
It destroys it.
Like,
1,000 boxes added. Like a lot of
it's not
us
even
were talking
1,000 boxes that were added. It's the fact that they're not selling.
Yeah. The crazy part is the crazy part is A, they're not selling, but B, they're at it's 6 months later. And now everyone that's talking about what's the print size of Monarch, if one store has 1,000 boxes left over, the print run of Monarch is massive. It's
and I'll tell you this,
far more in line with Tales than any other set.
Yeah.
Any
absolutely.
other set.
Stores are freaking out. I got a call today. I talked to Louis about this already, from a store that I will not name. He's a friend of mine. And he was like, "Hey, George, how are you doing?" I didn't know he had this. He was like, "Are you willing to buy out my Monarch position?" I said, "Buddy, I'll buy a piece of chewed gum if I can make a nickel." What are you selling for? And he goes, "Well," he goes, like, "What do you think, like 175 a box?"
Nope.
Yeah, I was like, what are you smoking? Like, what? Like 175 a box? Like, bro, I'm not going to be able to sell
what numbers? What number?
box.
How many boxes are you talking?
500 boxes.
Okay, so like
hold on.
So like this store has 500 boxes. What are these stores doing, and why aren't they selling them to their freaking patrons and their people?
If you were in Best Carolina at my store at release on release day, that's true for every set. It's been true for every set. You paid 90. I think I charged $100 for Monarch. I think it was either 100 or 96. I don't remember which. That's fair.
Yep.
They're my customers.
I didn't have a store. I bought boxes at the prices at $300 to $400 each and sold them to patrons as box openings at $325 each, which was $150 below the market price because I wanted to do content to help people get boxes at a lower price.
Yep. I mean, like, all these stores. I mean, like, people like, who, like, are you really upset about this? I'm like, listen, like, I'm very public about this. I bought a lot of boxes from España and from the land of Poutine. Shout out to Canada. Gave me most of my boxes. You screwed me on this one. Not gonna lie to you. But like, that's all right. I have a good amount of protection. I'm not the one you should feel bad for.
No.
I made a bad bet.
Yeah. Nobody should ever feel bad for you about anything monetarily.
No. But like, I bought my boxes in the secondary market because my boxes went to my customers.
Yeah.
The person you should feel bad for is the guy who went to that customer store who was sitting on 500 boxes praying they go up.
Yeah.
That's the person you should feel bad for. And that's a person that might never come back to flesh and blood.
Yeah. 100%.
Because that is a feels bad.
Or the people who sold them at the very peak for $550 and
the poor souls that like I'll go there. It's late night. People will forgive me. They won't, and I won't care. The people who paid $600 to channel Fireball on release day and didn't get jack squat back.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Like, okay, so why is it different? That guy, why are you not as mad at that guy as you are upset about Team Covenant? Because for me,
I'm furious at this bozo. I'm furious at this bozo. And I told him I'm disappointed in him.
Yeah.
Because, like, listen, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I get boxes from distribution as a retailer, not as an investor.
Oh, this is the same thing Metazoo is going through right now. Right? Like,
yes.
They've got a list. They've got a list. I love this. They've got a list that if a store is doing that, you report the store and they're going to change their allocations. Like, I love that's what we needed with
they need to get this in. Like, I will say it again. They have to get their distribution in line.
Yeah. Okay. I think also, like, for me, like, the Team Covenant thing is they're direct, and like, I don't know what their contracts look like with LSS, but like, I hope that this is a conversation that they had with LSS, and LSS told them, "Hey, this is how we want you to handle this." And my guess is that that's what's happened, and that that doesn't mean they handled it the right way, and the decision to do it that way was right. But my guess is that Team Covenant's above reproach, and like LSS knew about the boxes. Although, like if I'm LSS,
I don't know if that's true.
I guess not. Like if I'm LSS, why would I not just say, hey guys, thanks. If you're not going to be able to sell the boxes, can you give the boxes to like these guys over in California who got completely hosed by distribution and whatever? Like, yeah. Anyway, I think what it's worse for is this Monarch. Like this is Monarch's, dude. I don't want to say this, but like Monarch's $150 box. Like,
so the guy asked me, like, "Would you give me $150?" And I was like,
who are you selling it to at $150? And I know the comment section will say, "I'll buy a box at $150."
If you want to buy boxes at $150,
I'll buy every box at $150.
DMing me.
Yeah.
I can definitely find you boxes at $150. I think.
Yeah, 150 will probably. I mean, problem is like long term. Like, I mean,
like long term, who knows with Monarch? Monarch's wild.
Like long term, I think any TCG
Monarch will be fine long term.
Yeah. I mean, like next.
Let me tell you, like
the Rudy video was depressing.
Wait, let's take it in sequential order, beautiful mind. That was not. So I'll be honest. The Rudy video was depressing. The letter was way more depressing.
Yeah, the patron message. Yeah.
And he said that stores are facing a crisis in confidence over Flesh and Blood.
Yeah. And
I want to say this. I know some of you are like, oh, George, you're so negative. You say bad things. You guys, like, these aren't just like, I don't wake up and be like, geez, what can I say about LSS today? I talk to people every day about Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I spend 4 hours on the phone every day talking to stores carrying Flesh and Blood. I hear their struggles. Yeah. I hear what they're going through, and I'm trying to highlight that. And I think I've provided solutions for every problem I've highlighted, frankly. I've never said, this is a problem, sucks to be you.
Yeah, I feel like we've done that.
And this is what I was trying to avoid. We are at what I've been trying to avoid. Rudy laid bare what has been the secret for months now. Right. Stores are terrified.
Yep.
They can't get access to product they can sell. The product they can get, they're seeing get dumped by these large online retailers.
With free promos.
With free promos that they don't have access to.
Yeah.
And they're just wondering, where is my path with this game?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, like, some of this is on the retailer, and I've been clear about this too. I don't have a lot of these problems because I do events twice a week, 3 times a week. We do learn to play events. Right. We do things to grow our player base. But I think there has to be a give and take here. You have to give me margins to make that worthwhile.
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood this year went from my most profitable box to my second least profitable box.
Right.
That's
shelf space.
Distributors played games, and certain online retailers, that's me throwing a snowball, they have told people Unlimited is worthless.
And now we're starting to see that change with the print run announcement.
Now it's weird. Now we have all these speculators in Unlimited.
Yeah.
Rudy, like, listen, Rudy kind of got his wish on Flesh and Blood, I would argue.
What do you mean by that?
Unlimited is now every bit as investable, in my opinion, as first edition.
Oh, yeah. So
if not more.
I want to go back to the kind of backtrack a little bit. I wonder if you're the eyes of LSS, how you feel like it's going. Like I just feel like from the perspective of a new company, this is what I hear all the time. Like, oh, they were just a new company in New Zealand, and they're just a small company in New Zealand, and they don't even need the US market to sustain them. They've got the New Zealand market, and like things like that. And like I feel like if they were aware of what's going on here, and how stores feel as I am, if they were, I'm having the same conversations with you. I'm having conversations. The horrible part, I'm having conversations with players who are talking about their stores, And like, I just feel like they would be wanting to make some changes, and that's for me like why why I've taken the stance of this channel of like, I'm going to share my honest raw feedback publicly, because no one's asking me privately. No one's having conversations about, hey, how are things going? And I feel like it's important to use the platform that I do have to share the things that I'm aware of based on the relationships that I have because of the channel. And like, I think that that's important. I just, man, it's like, it's ugly right now. Like so going back to unlimited, definitely investable.
Yeah. People are like, what do you mean unlimited? Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want with it.
Like you made a good point on the phone earlier. Like Nationals is when they're going to announce. You think they're going to announce Arc and WTR?
I think they're going to announce something spicy at Nationals.
Yeah,
and it won't be Mondo 1K.
Yeah. So like
the trick is like, I hope they don't just like make Monarch out of print, because
that's what Rudy said in his video today. It's not going to do it. That won't do it. That will not do it.
That will do nothing.
Thing. It will do
that
nothing.
will do nothing for Monarch.
Like nobody
making Monarch Unlimited out of print.
Yeah, no.
Like I'll be honest. The second they make Crucible Unlimited out of print, I went to my computer and tried to buy everything.
Yeah.
That will not be my. If they're like Monarch out of print, I'm like, oh, get to my computer.
Yeah.
Like.
So like Monarch out of print, you're going to see people selling Monarch first. That's what's going to happen on the news. I don't know. I just feel like LSS is trying to figure out who they want to be. And I think that's where this crisis of confidence that Rudy's talking about is coming from, is like, there's all these other things going on in the TCG world. We had a massive crash in the collectible side of things, from Magic to Pokemon to Flesh and Blood. And like, we all thought that Fab was going to bounce back alongside of things, and it just didn't. And now I feel like LSS is reacting to that and trying to clean up the collectible side by saying, hey, like, I really question, was the unlimited out of print thing planned? Is this like I know everyone thinks that the Crucible was because of the announcement, which is crazy, but like, or is this a reaction to the collectible market and Rudy wanting some more action there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think I think they're anxious. I said in that third podcast we did, when I was like, listen, Metazoo is here to take. That was after Metazoo announced all their partners. Yeah. And I was like, Metazoo is here to take over the world, and LSS better take notice.
Yeah.
They didn't. Now they have to.
Yeah.
All the investments, all the collector side, that's not fair. A lot of the collector side has moved over. And now they're trying to bring them back. The problem is, like, the whales don't care about unlimited.
That's like, yeah.
What, you think so?
I mean, like, I get it. Yeah. No, I mean, I think they care about probably the fables, but like
maybe. I mean, like, I don't I don't think I know a whale that had, like, maybe I know a whale that has like 2 or 3. Like, you know, like, I don't know anybody has like 30, right?
Again, I come back to, why say that it went out of print? Why not just, hey, we're not going to reprint it for a while? They would have done the same thing in the market, right? Like, if I were a store, I would have called distribution and say, hey, can I get more of these boxes? I know it's not going to be printed for a while and I want to have them, right? But you wouldn't have had this like massive influx to buy up all the playable cards that have ever been played. I mean, like, Arcane today was up 30%. The singles were up 30%. So now if you're playing an Arcane Rising hero, it's now 30% more expensive to start playing this game. And this is where I'm saying, like, it's a crisis of who are we trying to be?
You gotta pick a lane.
Yeah.
You can't be like, and this is the problem. And like, and I'll be honest, I hate saying this again. This is what Magic the Gathering understood with their stupid collector boxes, which I hate.
Yeah.
That is not meant for players. There is nothing. There is like.
Well, it kind of is. Like Magic. I disagree with your opinions about Magic collectors and players being separated. Like, I think collector boxes are perfect for the casual Magic player.
The $220 boxes with 12 packs.
Yeah, perfect for a casual, like, for
24 packs. How many packs do they have?
There's 12. There's 12. There's 12. It's perfect.
15 cards.
it's perfect for a commander player. Like, yeah, because commander players want to bling out their deck. They want all the shiny stuff. That's not your. That's my commander group. My commander group was like, how expensive?
Be like the professor. Buy singles.
My commander group's like, how expensive can we make our decks? That's my
commander. But they buy singles for that. They don't buy boxes for that.
So you're saying like sealed collecting then?
Like the people that I sell collector boxes to are people who are just like filthy rich and don't care. Like there are people who come in with like
that's not my commander group. That's not my commander group.
No, get a better group.
So
they have like a ton of like disposable income. Like, I want the best. What's like? They ask me. Like, I get this question all the time. What's the most expensive Magic the Gathering box you have?
Interesting.
Cool. That's my customer. Goat customer.
So I just feel like we're getting.
I think you have like set boosters. Other than being kind of overpriced for the value in the box, shout out to the professor. It's a great box. You have a shot at something spicy once every 6 or 8 packs.
Yeah.
Like really spicy.
Right.
You have a higher % chance of getting a card worth money. You don't get as much chaff. Set boosters are great.
I'm not a huge fan of set boosters. Anyway, this is not a Magic the Gathering podcast. That is for sure. Back to
why don't you like set boosters?
I just don't like them. Well, so like, let's be fair. I kind of like the newer set boosters. I like sealed boxes. So like, you know.
Well, luckily for you, Louis, set boosters also come sealed.
Yeah, but the set booster box was huge until this next.
No, they changed
release.
it.
Yeah, this release it. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah,
yeah, but before the set box was massive.
I like that. Give me the big.
Hate that.
I like that. Give me the juice.
That's why I really like the collector boxes because they're tiny. I have not gotten out of sealed Magic collecting, even though I've been in Flesh and Blood. I always buy some of the sealed boxes.
So it's funny. All the boxes I couldn't give away are now worth like a lot more money. It's very funny what's happened to Magic.
I just feel like we're trying to figure out, Flesh and Blood's trying to figure out what do they want to be when they grow up.
Here is my
like they are.
Go ahead.
They're now like before the question was, does Flesh and Blood have the chops? Like, do people play the game? Blah, 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 blah. But now, like, the game's here. Now it's like, it's LSS's ball to drop now. Like, the touchdown's been thrown and they're about to catch it in the end zone. And the question is, like, are they grown up enough to know how to handle the ball?
They need to pick a lane.
Yeah. That's where I see this confidence shift.
Yeah, I mean, like, and part of me is just like, some of like, you know, it makes it weird right now. You know, and I've said this, like, if boxes are too cheap, like they were before the out of print announcement, and legendaries are too expensive, geez, let's go back to Econ 101. You print more of one and less of the other. Yeah. Like this, like, that's what drives me crazy. This doesn't seem all that challenging to me.
No.
If CNC is $120 today and you want it to be 60, produce more.
Yeah.
Put them in more boxes.
I hope that LGS promo that they have slated for December on the print run sheet is a Command and Conquer Rainbow Foil or a Cold Foil Command and Conquer.
Okay, it won't be that.
That'd be amazing if they gave 100 Cold Foil Command and Conquers to every LGS. That'd be fantastic.
Thank God I'm on a military base where they can defend me with their guns, because those are going to be fuego.
No, you print them to oblivion, so they're worthless. Why not?
I don't know how many that is, but I know that's a lot.
What?
How many would that be? Like
100 per LS or per LGS. What?
I don't know. Maybe.
That's a lot of promos.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Print them to oblivion, make them worthless, add to the supply without putting them in a box. You know, like, I don't know. I come back to that all the time. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what's the goal here? What is the goal to be like? Is unlimited for collectors or players? Because like the statement of like, hey, we're out of printing it means it's collectors. the statement of like, hey, we can't get the print time for this box right now, so instead of printing WT, like who does this? Stonemeyer Games. Oh my gosh, I just had this thought. Stonemeyer Games does this for they create Scythe, these board games, right?
Yep.
That have highly collectible, they have a first edition of a lot of their stuff or whatever, but they, on their website, you can see what is in print, what is scheduled to print, what is out of print, and then like they have like code words. It's like it's in development or it's in play testing.
I hope it's all just like Kingdoms 1, Kingdoms 2, Kingdoms 3.
Well, like it's cool because you can see like when you're like, oh man, I can't get this, the expensive resource tokens have been sold out for 6 months. You can see, hey, no, they're in production and they're going to be released like Q1 of 2022. So I'm not going to spend $80 on those on eBay when I know that it's going to be reprinted for $35. Like, I mean, like it's just like that kind of transparency would go a long way. And you can just say, hey, we're done printing WTR for 5 years and it's going to be in the print again, like, and then players, I don't know.
I think that's what Rudy is saying, is LSS has to start communicating these things to us.
Well, like
that's where listen, like that's how you build confidence in the stores.
Listen, and the problem with moving investable into unlimited is that it moves it away from first edition. Like now you have a confidence shift in first edition collectors because it's like, ooh, is all the money just going to go in unlimited and it's going to be a percentage thing now, rather than like I want new collectors to spend their money on first edition stuff, not on unlimited. Right?
I think that listen, I think they got to look at the boxes pretty hard. And Scala and Wall Street, the best Discord, he had a great idea for this. In every case, you get 3 non-foil legendaries and 1 cold foil legendary.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That's a good idea.
You get 4 times the amount of legendaries in the market, and you still keep the specialness of the cold foil. And
you keep the specialness for the unlimited one, and unlimited you still have the rainbow foil one in a case.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love that idea. Scala, great idea.
Yeah. The goat Scala. So like I get it. Like I don't know.
We got a goat coming up later in the episode.
Yeah. I just feel like the confidence shift for stores is based upon the promos and the CFB stuff and all the drama that goes into that. And I feel like from the collector and the investor, like now it's like I don't know what to invest in. And if I don't know what to invest in, then like the new player, new collector, new investor doesn't know what to spend their money on.
I have not been charged the same price for a box in the last 6 months from distribution.
Yeah.
And I told him this. I was like, I am done playing these games.
Yeah.
And listen, if it means that I'm not allowed to carry Flesh and Blood anymore because I'm not going to throw a dart at the wall and see what price I pay this week, then fine. I can't, I am too bald, fat, and old to do this.
You got that right.
I know.
I get it.
And good looking.
I will take those because I am a chump. This is, but I feel terrible doing that. I don't feel good taking them. It doesn't make me feel excited to then, to not know that.
It doesn't have to be this way either. No. This is not happening with any other game.
Well, this goes back, Rudy said
Pokemon Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection is every single bit as hot as Monarch was and way hotter than Tales was at release.
Right.
I got quoted a price 4 months ago when I ordered. I paid that price on release week.
Right.
They didn't say, oh, geez, we got way less. I'm going to double your price. I hope you're okay with that.
Right.
The next Magic set supposed to have lottery cards is the rumor.
Oh.
That will be a very hot set.
Are we going to do a mass box opening?
No. I don't hate money. I got quoted a price. I will tell you I will pay that price when it releases.
Yep.
Nightfall is by far the hottest set right now in America.
It's
by
crazy.
far. I got quoted a price. I'm paying that price.
Yeah.
I got given an allocation. I'm getting that
the allocation. That's a big one too. Yeah.
This only happens with one game.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. I don't.
Well, like it feels like it's a lot of the distribution like wanting to say, hey, we're gonna hold boxes back so that when it goes to the moon, we can sell them somewhere else. You mean?
I theorized that Team Covenant took one for the team, and these came from a distributor. I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that at all.
They would have said that
unless I signed an NDA.
That's crazy.
I'm crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm crazy.
That's the type of stuff that makes stores not want to carry the game.
I don't know. I don't like Louis. I don't know, but like I'll tell you, like 1,000 boxes.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of boxes, Louis.
I don't know.
All right, so
I don't want to get into that one.
Rudy's video today, or it was
horrible.
In 2 days. Rudy's video 2 days ago.
Rudy's Monarch box opening. I'm guessing the value pulled from that box was like $17.
And that wasn't the bad part. First of all, Rudy, you can't laugh at Mondo 1K like that.
Yeah,
baby.
what are you doing, Rudy? You bought all the boxes.
Feelings.
Don't you care about your investments?
I don't care about your investment. I care about my feelings. That hurts. That hurts. Laughing at Mondo 1K.
He was like, Mondo 1K. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
And he laughed. Rudy, what did I do to you?
Oh, man.
And then, I'll be honest, my thought was he looked like Aoki opening up that heart.
Yeah. But like, it's like I opened Monarch on the stream. Yeah, I did my stream with one first edition. One of the things that's really tough is that the packs are all different. And so it's like finding the cold foil or the foil is super hard. And like he was struggling there too because he kept opening them and it would be like, oh, here it is.
So it's really funny because it also reminded me that Monarch has my favorite art.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great art.
Monarch has the best art of Monarch. Definitely has the best art of any Flesh and Blood set.
Yeah, I agree. The new set's pretty good too, though.
What is?
The new set.
Not compared to Monarch.
I think it's pretty good.
No. Monarch, then you're like this. Monarch, then Crew.
Oh, Crew, probably my favorite.
No.
Yeah.
And then the worst part, after Rudy gets done laughing at my dreams and hopes, he goes, the market rejected Monarch.
Yes. And that was a rough line. Because we haven't said that. We have not, we've talked about it personally, but like, ugh.
Here is what I hope. Louis, I hope the takeaway from this is. I hope the takeaway from this is what about this set did the market not accept? Like the market's not accept. Like he might have used harsh language. I'll agree. He's not lying. Like
you and I both know what it is.
What do you think it is?
Here's the thing. No, the market rejects it because of the talent system. The players love the talent system.
Pause. Competitive and good players.
Yeah. Sure. Which is Flesh and Blood.
I have only ever held Learn to Play events with Welcome to Wraith.
The boxes need generic cards.
They need generic Majestics.
The boxes need a generic legendary. The boxes need a generic for the market to accept the product. This has been my argument for Crucible Unlimited. This is why, if you go back to our stream, I said Crucible of War First Edition was never going to see any competition from Monarch First Edition, because Monarch only supports 4 heroes. It only supports 4.
Then you had to go beg to your whale friends for help. Like, come on, give me a break.
Stop. My
Please, my Crucible is tanking $500. Please help me win my bet.
Listen. The box of Crucible supports everything. Monarch only supports the 4 heroes. If Tales of Aria is going to be, I mean, I don't want to be the guy that says it. Tales of Aria is going to be worse because Tales of Aria can only support on the market. I'm only talking about the market. The set's amazing. The draft is amazing. Everything's amazing. I get it. It's fun. Sealed, but like the market. The market cannot accept a print run of that size for 3 heroes. And this is where I think we have to, and okay, this is the solution. Are you ready for the solution? If you want it to be worth money, if you want first edition to have value, and I know long term, if you want it to have value, you have to lower the first edition print run and put unlimited out at the same time, or you got to fix the issue between first and unlimited. You just got to get rid of it.
I'll be honest, I've changed my tune on that. Go ahead though.
What do you mean?
I used to be very opposed to getting rid of first and unlimited and just doing box. I now think that's the right decision.
Listen, there's a reason Pokemon got rid of it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like the model, it just, I don't think it works. It doesn't work. Here's where it doesn't work. And this is the reaction that everybody gives us. It doesn't work if you want long-term growth for a product. Because what product is supposed to grow long-term? Are they going to grow in sequential order long-term? Like first and unlimited together? Like there's just too much product.
I think we both agree there is a hard line between the first 3 sets.
Yes.
For collectability.
Yes.
Wraith, Arcane, and Crew are all highly
super
collectible and called after.
Because the print run was small.
But I don't think that tells the full. Like, listen, what you said, the first part, I think is more important.
But it's both. It's both of those things.
Listen, like, there's a reason E-Strike and CNC are very valuable in first edition because everybody has them in unlimited and loves them.
Yeah, and they're iconic. That makes them iconic when they become played.
And like that is like I will hold true to this. I said on this podcast, I said on your stream. I will not hold LSS accountable for the lessons of Monarch and Tales. I will hold them accountable for it in the set after that.
Supplementary set.
I don't care about the supplementary set. Like I care about it, but like that, I won't hold them accountable. Like those are different lessons.
But George,
in the set after supplemental set, I need to see generic legendaries and generic majestics that are strong, that are played.
It's the talent system.
Boxes up.
They've got to add to the talent system. The talent system's fine. You have to have generics alongside of it if you want the boxes to have value.
Those are how you get desirable cards.
If you don't want the boxes to have value, then don't put that in the boxes. Like that's what's going to drive the value of the boxes. So,
yeah, I mean, like,
I think that's the issue that Monarch's going to have. I think that's the issue that Tails is going to have. I'm not saying that it's not collectible or investable. I think it still is long term. I just think the potential is.
I think like, never mind.
The potential is just far less, like infinitely less.
I would say something different. I would say the time horizon is a lot longer.
Yeah,
like this isn't going to be a year.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's going to be a minute.
So like the thing with if you compare it to like a magic box, right? Where like with my War Spark boxes that I paid $80 for and now are worth $125. That's what 4 years. That's what we're talking about. The question I have though, like, listen, the question I have is like, I don't know, man. Like unlimited kind of ruins that though, doesn't it? Like the reason I don't know. I feel like
one of the weird things that happen in Magic is that collector boosters pop quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if First can do that. I don't know. Maybe First does that. But I mean, like, listen, like, I think the problem with like First is it will feel bad when I sell out a First in a minute, and then I'm stuck giving the person who's 100th in line a box of unlimited.
Yeah, it's their fault. They should be 99th in line.
I don't love that.
I know, like this is where I feel like they need to get rid of first edition. This is why I've said that.
I'm there,
but I don't think that's their attitude. That's not their attitude.
So I don't know if that's true. I mean, like, what we don't know is do they think they have a problem?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess we'll learn.
I mean, like, I will say this, like, you know, Rudy and I, well, frankly, were as big of a fan of Fab as you can get. Rudy and I were both very early.
What about me?
Huh?
I wasn't
you were
early.
Late. You came in like Monarch. Get out of here. What about me?
I came in before Monarch.
You came in with Crucible.
Yeah, the greatest set ever made by any game ever.
Me, Bill, and Rudy.
Yeah. Shout out to Bill.
Jason.
Shout out to Bill. Reaper Games, the greatest LGS in America.
And like Rudy was as big of a fan of Fab as you could find. I wasn't. I think I still am. I don't care what the comment section says. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I'm still the biggest fan of Fab, probably of any LGS owner except for Bill the Goat. But like this is what Rudy and I, frankly, have been trying to get across.
Yeah,
there's a problem that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
and I don't know, like. I don't know how to say there's a problem without being negative, because a problem is inherently negative.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. The question is, do they want to listen? And the question
Rudy has provided solutions. I think I have provided solutions.
I've provided solutions.
LSS has my phone number.
We've invited them to be on the podcast. We've invited conversation. There's been plenty of invitations. Yeah. All right.
I mean, like.
All right, moving on. Let's talk positive. I'm sick of this crap. I'm getting sick. This is the issue. I'm getting sick of talking about solutions. Like this is the issue. I'm sick of
podcast. We got Mike coming on in a minute. It'll be great.
Yeah, like I'm sick of being negative. Like I'm sad. Like I don't want to make sad content.
That has been the big shift this week in people. They're no longer angry.
Yeah, it's just like I thought the TCG player sale. I was hyping that crap up. I thought it was going to be massive. It didn't do a ton for first edition. It did a ton for unlimited, like massive for unlimited. It didn't do, and like it just made me sad. Like,
it's just sad. I mean, like here, like I'll give you a very scary statistic. You ready for this?
Ready.
For the first month since Welcome to Wraith Alpha, it looks like Flesh and Blood will not be the #1 seller in my store this month.
Dang. My Hero Academia for the win.
It's My Hero Academia.
That's crazy. I was wrong. Okay,
that game is on fire.
All right, I don't want to talk about My Hero Academia. You want to talk about anything?
Let me tell you about like how like it is like they have these packs and like the deck loadable content coming out in November.
I don't want to talk about My Hero Academia.
You better watch out. You might be covering My Hero Academia soon.
Nope, will not be. I got too many games. I'm team.
Metazoo and My Hero Academia both start with them.
It sounds like you're leaving Team Metazoo and going to My Hero Academia. Mike, I will not.
Nobody believes that. What you just said is what nobody will ever believe. So that's fine.
All right. You want to talk about the next set?
Yeah, Kingdoms.
Kingdoms Part 2.
What are your hopes and prayers for Young Kingdom? Not your child, the other kingdoms.
I think that the supplemental set, which is Q1, I already did a video on this, so I won't share a ton. If you want to watch that, go watch my video. But I think it's great that it's supporting everybody, all the heroes. I put out some hot takes that are just pure speculation.
What are the hot takes?
That we're going to see different heroes added in. Yeah, we saw that with Crucible.
Old Gianna. Gianna.
We saw that with Crucible, and like maybe they throw that in, right? Like maybe they throw in.
We saw what other than Gianna.
I'm sorry. We saw it with like Kasai, and we saw heroes they were all young heroes, so maybe it's only for Blitz. Maybe they didn't want to balance it for CC. But I think you could see different heroes pop in. Yeah. You could see, who knows now? Everything's out there. They could just throw out heroes. Who knows? Hey guys, go play this. Anyway, I think you could see new heroes for the subtypes. Like, I don't know, maybe they throw in some generic light and shadow support that brings in like a ninja, like a shadow ninja, right? That like hops in and it's a big set. I don't know. I'm interested. I'm very, very interested. It's weird because you're going to have shadow and light and elemental cards in the set. I think that's the way it's going to have to be. So I think it's going to probably mostly only affect Monarch and Tails in terms of playability.
Are you saying Mondo 1K? Have I converted you?
I don't know that. Again, I think the supply is too high for it to affect the market in terms of like that.
This will not affect them. I don't think this will affect the Monarch market.
Where I think it could go, though, is with that kind of question mark product, which some people are just saying is a hero deck. But if it's not PvE, dude, like real talk, you think I'm bummed now. Can you imagine if this set doesn't have PvE? How disappointing!
James, do it for me, baby. No PvE for Louis.
I will have to take a break from content for a while, I think.
I can carry your channel like I carry the podcast.
My expectations are too high. I need to. Like,
I think it'll be PvE. Nothing else makes sense.
It's got to be PvE.
Nothing else
makes sense. I agree. I hope they just do it right. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's like a really big tenet.
You know what, Louis? I'll be honest, it doesn't worry me.
No, like one of the things is like Ultimate Pit Fight. I feel like they put that out, and I think Ultimate Pit Fight's great, and it's probably more the responsibility of the community. I don't think we as a community really leaned into Ultimate Pit Fight as much.
I don't know, and it's funny. I don't know why that's the case, but I'll say this.
Go
ahead.
No, go.
I've never held a UPF game in my store.
Look at how respectful we are when Mitch isn't here. It's amazing.
Yeah, Mitch just brings us down.
Yeah, he does. I think, yeah, like I think like as a community, maybe we didn't lean into that as much. Part of that is like Crucible came out in the middle of COVID when nobody could get together and play together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was like really in there.
Is that when they released UPF?
It was Crucible. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like maybe now here we are and we can see more, but like also UPF, they didn't do any supplemental product for it, right? Like it was just part of the thing. So I think if they put something in the deck, I think like I said villain deck today in my videos. I had clickbaity title. A lot of people were upset, but it got them to watch the video, so that did its job.
You made your 15 cents today. Good for you, Louis.
But if they do
get
like
that dipping sauce,
listen, if they do like a villain deck that's like, hey, LGSs can host events, and I think that would go a long way. It's got to be if they do PvE, it's got to be connected to their business model, which is LGS, and it will be successful.
Yeah, I mean, so it's funny. Like, you know, we talked to Mike about in-store play.
Yeah,
I've been telling him this for months. LSS does in-store play promos better than anybody.
Yeah,
when you do in-store play for Magic, you get 20 bajillion Magic cards that are all worthless.
Right.
Nobody cares. Like frankly, most players just like trade the packs among themselves for like uncommons or like rares.
Right.
They're worthless. You know, no LGS that I'm aware of does. Maybe, you know, Weiss does an okay job too, but like nobody does as good of a job as LSS, in my opinion, of organized play in stores.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that is by far their sweet spot. That's their strike zone.
Yep, we say that every week on this podcast.
Yeah, nobody listens to that part, but that's okay. Much love to all of you.
Yeah,
except for a couple. So, I mean, like I you know this, like PvE doesn't do it for me, but like,
listen, I mean,
Louis, I want you to know this is how bad it is. I'm rooting for you to get it.
I promise you will not see a lack of effort on my part to make PvE successful if LSS goes that way.
Every day, a new PvE episode.
Like I will do so much. I have a lot of faith in PvE. So anyway, that's all I care about for the next.
I'm going to try it at my store if it comes out. Obviously, I'll try it at my store. I'll see how they react. I don't know if I have that player base. I'll be honest,
George. If players could go up against you playing a hero deck, they would love that.
Well, they just love me. I don't.
Okay,
I love you too.
That's the first supplemental set and the question mark set. The third thing was Q2 is the next booster box set. Now, there's been some complaints about like us not seeing a new meta until then. And like, I think you're underestimating.
I think that's nonsense.
I think you're underestimating the effect of the supplemental set on the meta.
1000%.
Yeah.
Like Louis is very rarely right.
Yeah.
He is exactly right about that.
The supplemental set could completely change everything.
Crew completely changed the first heroes.
Yeah. You're going to see for sure a blue pitch Seeds of Agony 0.2 that's only in blue pitch to replace Seeds of Agony that got banned, which is going to bring Chain back.
Chain gang.
So like
chain to 1K.
I think the supplementary set's going to affect it, and then this brings out the next set, which is going to be talent based, right? Like you're gonna have an area. It's got to be talent based. That's kind of the direction of the whole game. I think Wizard. I think Ninja. What? Why are you shaking your head?
I hope you have to play Wizard again at UPF and get wrecked again.
I've got now we're getting a weekly a bi-weekly UPF stream going.
I was there to root you on last week.
Yeah, I'm playing Cheyenne next week. Anyway, yeah, dude, I'm gonna make the most expensive deck in the world. It's gonna have all the. It's gonna have all the. Yeah, I'll use Matt. It's gonna have all the fables in it. Dude, there's a Cheyenne. Listen, there's a Cheyenne play that you can do with going bananas. You play Corsham, and then you play going bananas, and you call out Exude Confidence, I think it is, and it's literally unlimited damage against somebody. I can't wait. It's gonna be so
I hope they ban Shiana in the next set. Too strong.
Yeah. Anyway,
no Oceana. She's just banned in Blitz.
So yeah, I mean, like, I think it's going to be Wizard. I think Mechanologist is probably an easy bet. Both of those probably.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think they got a lot of help in the first crew set, though.
No, I'm not talking about the supplemental set.
What are you talking? Oh, you're talking about the second set. Okay.
Yeah, Q2.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So I think by Q1 they've got to mean like January. Like if we don't see the supplemental set in January, that's going to be a lot of time without new product.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like, and this is something that I think LSS needs a straight copy from Metazoo. Like Metazoo does 45 announcements an hour.
Yeah,
there's always something happening.
Yep.
And like Magic does 8,300 announcements an hour.
They have like 18 people tweeting out different things that are like constant information.
And like people are like, oh, that's annoying. It's not.
No,
because you're
not if you're a store.
I'm also it's not if you're a store, but also like listen, go to the Discords and see what happens when they post something.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
And like that is powerful. Like this is the power. Like this, like I teach on this stuff. This is the power and detriment of social media.
Yep.
We're all engaging with this stuff all the time.
Yep.
Going weeks and months without engagement, without meaningful engagement.
I think they're starting to learn this.
I do too. I think let me be very clear. We've seen remarkable improvement in the last couple of weeks, months of this.
I think they're starting to learn this. I think
I was caught off guard by them announcing a set so early. They've never done that before.
One of the things I'm learning with LSS is they like to keep things secret.
Yeah.
And like I think that's great, but like in a much more real world, like I think they should start bringing in people, content creators. I know I'm being selfish, but don't do me, do other people. I don't care. Bring in other people and create some really big hype and give people more time. One of the things I thought went really well is like I reached out to James White. I said, hey, I would love to do the Blitz deck videos. And for Monarch, it took me too long to get the Blitz deck videos out because I didn't, know anything. And so I got signed an NDA and, did the Blitz deck videos and we're able to have them out on release day. And that was huge. And like allow content creators some insight on what's coming up so they can create some really cool content based on it. But like they want to keep things secret. And I get that too.
Do you think your videos curse Monarch and Tails or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the reason that you are poor. Oh, now we have two comments in this episode of somebody calling somebody poor on this channel. Stay tuned for the Metazoo minute where George calls me poor and makes fun of me.
No. Yeah. I said you can't afford roads.
Oh, let the comment section decide who thinks who's poor. Anyway, Q2 I think is gonna be great. I don't think we see another set till like January or July though. I think Q2 is gonna be later.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I listen. I think 3 sets in the first 2 quarters is great.
Three. It's not gonna be. I see what you're saying. 3 products.
Yeah. I think Question Mark's gonna be a PVE set.
No,
Do you not?
No.
Really?
No, I don't think they should. I think the PvE set, I don't think it should be a PvE set. I don't think you should give any. This is why I use the phrase villain. If you use the phrase villain, you can create cards for the villain that don't affect at all gameplay. None of the competitive scenes affected by what you want to create for the PvE, and then just allow the regular cards from Flesh and Blood to be used to fight this villain that does really cool stuff because they can do whatever they want.
So have like a deck.
So it'd be like a decks, like like World of Warcraft had the raid decks, right? And so you call them the villain decks, and you're fighting some big creature that's the villain, or maybe it's a Scufflet, right? You had Scufflet's. I don't know the lore. I don't know if he's a good guy or bad guy, but the lore, everyone loves the lore.
Dustblade.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I can't wait. Spoiler season's my favorite. It's also my least favorite because I'm exhausted, and I'm exhausted thinking.
No, this time took the whole time off.
Huh?
You did like one video this year. This for Tales.
What are you smoking?
For Monarch, you did 20 videos a day.
No, stop it. Oh, that's actually kind of true, because for Tales I couldn't do videos because I knew the stuff based on the precons
that you did not tell your best friends about. Continue.
No, I didn't tell anybody.
Including your best friends. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, how do you know how often I talk to my best friends? Oh! Anyway.
Mike, cancel the NFTs.
Dude, NFTs. Oh my gosh. Everyone, let me hype you up for the Metazoo minute. Are we done?
I set this up so well for you.
Are we done?
Sure.
All right, Metazoo.
We never really started. Let's be honest.
If you're a Flesh and Blood fan, you want to stick around because there's some spicy stuff going on. Like the Metazoo minute this week is hype.
If you're a fan of TCGs, you better stick around and listen to what Mike has to say.
55 verticals. 55 different ways for people to get interested in Metazoo based on their hobbies and their interests.
If you're a fan of business, you better stick around this one.
Yeah, forget TCGs. If you like the business,
that business.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna transition. How do you want to transition, George? You just want to be like, you want to go woo and then disappear?
By the way, I'm glad you mocked me for doing an introduction for the Metazoo minute, and now there's not even the same people here, so I think that worked out pretty well for me.
You're right. Good job. All right, ready? We're gonna go woo, and then we're gonna drop down, and then all right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Whoa! Welcome to the world's best Metazoo minute. For the first time, I will not have to carry the whole load. We have with us a very, very special guest, the GOAT himself, Mike Waddell.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Love the energy.
Mike, we're stoked to have you on, man.
Are you on top of me still, Louis, on this one? Doesn't matter. On top of me, Louis DeGeorge, owner of America's favorite YouTube channel, voted #1 by all his patrons.
George, we already did the intro. This is the Metazoo minute. We already did the whole podcast.
I don't care. And to the top left, the best single store, home of the Metazoo merchant himself, Mitchell Murray. Intro number 2, you're welcome.
The comment section has to let you have it for this. We
Yeah,
already did the intro. It's the middle of the podcast now.
That's great. It's great. They love it.
No, what if it's just an inverted podcast this week?
Yeah, don't listen to Louis. Louis bad for you.
Poor Mike. Poor Mike had to suffer through all that.
He'll suffer through the whole thing.
All right. Well, Mike just has. We're in the middle of a huge release for the new set Nightfall. We got Nightfall cards. Look, I got the Grim Reaper. We all have Nightfall. George, where are your Nightfall cards?
It should be delivered on Friday.
We got Nightfall cards. George is the only one here without Nightfall. I bet you Mike's got Nightfall cards with him.
Just a few, yeah.
just a handful.
It's because maybe Mike hates George now. Mike, do you hate George?
It's more of a professional relationship at this.
All right, so we got some questions. Oh, I got a baby coming too. We got some questions. George, kick it off with the big question. I know you're super interested in this
question that I think everybody is asking, Mike. This is, I would argue, the most important question in the game's history here. Will the next shoes be printed in adult sizes?
So you're size 13, right?
13 or 14, but I'll squeeze into a 13 for you if I need to. I can have dainty feet for a day.
So we're actually making our own silhouettes this time for the Nightfall shoes. So we're custom making them. So I'm going to ask from sizes up to 16.
Oh, you're cooking. Now you're cooking.
Now George can fit his yachts in his shoes.
I can fit my yacht on my yacht. That's perfect.
What's the name of that cartoon character that has the giant feet? Is it Gumbo? Doesn't Gumbo have giant feet?
Do you mean Dumbo? Are you calling me an elephant? You calling me fat?
Moving on. No response. I plead the fifth.
So, Mike, tell us. Obviously, a big week in Metazoo history happening right now with Nightfall, and obviously the announcement of the shoe sizes. Yeah. How are you feeling? How do you feel about Nightfall? What have you been hearing? How do you think it's going so far?
So we also, by the way, like an hour ago, finished the NFT sale.
Yeah.
And
already talking about NFTs. I wasn't going to ask yet.
$215,000, which is awesome for for what it is. But
did we say 250?
215. Yeah.
I know, but we were saying it was going to be 250. That's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So I mean, very happy about that. Happy with the release. There are hiccups, obviously. Like, Crypto Nation released like 2.5 months ago, so we've been like really trying our best to get the product, Nightfall off the presses and shipped. We hadn't officially announced, or rather we did, but it wasn't completely verified that we were printing with Cartamundi. And we just didn't have enough time between Cryptid Nation and Nightfall to print with Cartamundi. So it's going to be happening starting officially with a future set, either Wilderness or UFO, which means we had to bring all the Nightfall product for the most part. There's some stuff, printed elsewhere from China. And we did it all via air freight. And so it's still, it's still coming in. The theme decks, I think, are going to be the latest thing. They make landfall, I believe, today, and then they're going to go through customs, and then they're going to go out. So a few days late on some of the product. Obviously not ideal, but I'm actually quite proud that our team was able to pull this off for sure.
Booster boxes are in. What was the decision that went through? I'm curious to, I think some other companies have in the past just delayed the release and said, "Hey, we're going to delay." What was the desire to not delay into that booster boxes go ahead and show up and start shipping out?
So I was thinking that so let's say that we delayed to the end of November, we would have had, oodles and oodles of wiggle room in terms of, the product being available and actually in local game stores. But I really wanted this product to be released in October before Halloween. For historical purposes. I was
hoping that was the answer.
For historical purposes, I think that would be more important than a few days delay.
For sure.
And, at the end of the day, people are going to be opening up Metazoo Nightfall and their spooky themed, whatnot breaks and YouTube, videos, and they'll be in costume, and it just wouldn't hit the same way emotionally if we delayed. And,
I love that. Like, I think a super corporate, wanting everything to be straight edge and clean company would delay everything and have some big press announcement. And I think get the idea of the fans just wanting to enjoy it and in the timeline. And I think that when I started realizing, just hearing from distribution that boxes were shipping, I kind of could tell that the other stuff was going to be delayed. I was like, I bet you that this is so that it can be out for Halloween. And I was stoked about that. I think it's a cool move. I think it's a move for it's probably a move for the player collector more so than it is a move for the LGSs or I'm gonna have to respond to a lot of emails about when are my bundles shipping, and my response will be, I told you that they weren't going to ship until I get the product. But I think for the people and the collectors, it's cool to have it now, and I think that's
they're in a good spot because I mean, they could delay it 3 months. I have a wait list for boxes as long as my dining room table. I mean, like I you know, if Mike had given me the entire print run, I would have still been oversold. Maybe next time, Mike. And so, like, you know, it's a good spot because like it doesn't. There's so much demand. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The important thing though is for wilderness. Wilderness has to be on time. In fact, early is on time. On time is late with wilderness, right? Because it's justifiable from a lore emotional standpoint to release Nightfall before Halloween, but there's no such justification for, you know, if wilderness is anticipated to be late, let's say due to Chinese New Year's, I literally just push back release rather than try and trickle through, right?
That makes sense.
But you know, the idea with wilderness is we're actually going to be submitting it, or it'll start shipping via boat mid-January. So we're going to be instead of doing air freight, which literally doubles the cost of printing, assuming that we are printing with you know, our Chinese printer, it'll be it's called a fast boat, so it'll be 20 days via sea freight or ocean freight, rather than, you know, air freight, which is, you know, a few days. But you know, I was competing for Nightfall. I was competing with Apple for air freight space.
Because of their new MacBooks.
Yep, we had to outbid them.
That's crazy.
On air freight. So, you know, we're talking like $5 per pound for air freight costs.
That's brutal.
Our margins are super thin, and if we didn't raise MSRP like I anticipated, we would actually be operating at a loss with this stuff. So, you know, it isn't ideal. Obviously, a lot of stores are upset, but at the end of the day, it's just a few days, you know, late to a week late. We're not delaying it by a few months, right? Which has happened before in the past. And we're still learning, which I think is the important thing. But we actually have to learn from those mistakes.
It's your second set.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think it's hard. It's hard for a store to be upset. Like everything is delayed in 2021. Everything. Like when I order something on Amazon and I pay for Amazon Prime, they no longer ship it to me in 2 days. It's like 4 days, 5 days. Like
that's because you're in West Virginia.
We have roads in South Carolina, and that's what they use to get the packages to your house.
No, I can get mine here the same day.
Maybe they're hiring the Mothman to drop off your package.
This is the world that we live in. This is, Mike, can we get the Mothman? That's what we need, the Mothman to deliver.
That's going to be actually a TV show he's working on.
Oh, yeah. Mothman delivery.
Shipping Wars, but with Mothman? That'd be amazing. I'm in.
Yeah, I think that's and we did a podcast episode a couple weeks ago, and in the Metazoo Minute, we were like shocked at how fast that you got it to the printers. And that's still like, I mean, like this is where as a collector, as a player, you always want new things in front of you, right? Like you're like, oh man, something shiny, oh something shiny, oh something shiny, and like the alternative to this is like not having another booster box until Christmas or like the new year, and like
at which point I'd be competing with other TCGs who release in that time frame. So I literally had a 2-week window to get this out, right? You think about Pokemon Celebrations released on the 8th of October, and then in November we have a bunch of I think Magic stuff that's coming out, and then Flesh and Blood, not Flesh and Blood, but Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. So like I view these windows as relatively small. And then if you miss that window, you actually have to jump a month or two into the future, if not more, before that window opens up again. And it would also cannibalize a bunch of the other things that we have coming out, which, you know, people are really excited for, right? So
can you tell us a little bit about the plush? We saw the plush picture. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we have
Pizza Bird.
We have about I think it's I'm calling them a family of 10 plushies coming out, and the idea is those are the prototypes that we're approving right now. You know, and it's like small color correction things. It's making the Flatwoods monster fatter, you know, things like that.
Yeah, he's from West Virginia.
And then what I want to do with it actually is, if you remember, like for plushies, the tag is super important. So what I want to, and people actually have like cases for tags and stuff. So
cool.
I'm going to actually have promo cards as the tags.
God, I love it.
You know, so
The
it'll
plushie's
be
going to be $800 at release. It'll be magical.
but you know, this is like, I eventually want to work with like Build-A-Bear, and I want to work with, you know, the people who are kind of have pedigree in the plushie space, but we just couldn't do that for this first run. But most people, hey, they wanted plushies, and we were being asked, kind of like the pins, we're asked every day about them. So it would be really dumb not to do it, because some people want to interact with Metazoo via plushies. So, you know, why would
Let's talk offline. I have a bunch of contacts in that space, Mike, through my other business.
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a bunch of contacts in the stuffed animal space.
Mike, are these the target for this? Is this the big box stores?
They will be. So, you know, in January 2022, we're looking at Walmart and Target, officially, unofficially, right?
Officially, unofficially.
And you know, the companies that we're talking to that will facilitate this, they have certain types of shelf space, and so mostly it's pins and trading cards right now.
Yeah.
And so plushies is a whole nother can of worms or beans or whatever you want to call them, that we have to crack into. That being said, let's say that hypothetically we were to release direct to consumer a bunch of plushies and had a whole bunch of sales figures to show them. Wouldn't that be more convincing than saying, hey, like, trust us, plushies will sell well on your shelf space? So that's my strategy going forward with a lot of things, kind of like the pins, where it's like, you know, hey, we can make a few $million with pins. Let us into your stores. We did that in a few hours. So, you know, so that's my strategy going forward with these things is just let the numbers speak for themselves.
So let me ask you about the pins. The first wave was you could pick the pin. Yeah. The second wave was blind box. Was that to see what the market preferred, or what was the reasoning behind going from pick a pin to blind box?
So the blind box, it was to test the waters. With the blind box, we could also have secret rares. And, you know, it's interesting. People are more vitriolic against things that have blind box mechanics, but they vastly outperformed.
Yeah, I was about to say, blind boxes are how I built my house. Yeah. Without blind boxes, I'd be living like Louis lives. I mean, like it would not be good. It would not be good.
Louis sitting there with a loving baby and you know, surrounded by, you know, he's like, that's horrible.
He has no roads. He's waiting 15.
He has to wait 4 days for an Amazon package.
That was brutal. That was brutal.
But yeah,
listen. I own some Metazoo NFTs, so pretty soon I'll be living on a yacht.
Hey, I think that those are selling for quite a bit now.
Yeah, let's transition away from whatever George wanted to talk about and into what is really the most important conversation.
I want you to know, before you say anything, how proud I am that you waited 12 minutes for this. I want you to know how
it's been 22.
Before we start recording doesn't count. This is the longest I've gone talking to you in the last month without you mentioning Metazoo NFTs, and I'm really proud of you, Louis.
Dude,
continue.
$217,000 for a 1-of-1. That's crazy.
But to finish the point, Louis, the blind stuff always outperforms because hell, I would do blind plushies, and we might eventually do that. Because the magic of opening this stuff up and being surprised is such an important facet of collectibles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It really can't be understood.
Let's definitely talk. Because I know the guy that does the #1 selling blind box for plushie.
All right,
so
that's easy.
So,
absolutely.
Like, people who complain about blind boxes in a trading card game need to go find a different hobby.
And also, I'll tell you what I tell the people who I talk with. They're lying. They say they don't like it and they buy more of it because they secretly love it. They just don't want to admit it.
The entire trading card game model is based on blind boxes.
Maybe they hate it because they keep buying boxes and can't stop the endorphin release.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have any self-control. I hate blind boxes.
Yeah. It is, you know, it's interesting. But the reality is when we give people an option to buy what they want, they're less interested in the product, right? Like if Metazoo were to be, it's kind of like if Metazoo were to have nothing but cards that you could buy individually off of our website, we wouldn't exist at this point.
Right. Blind boxes have completely taken over a lot of industries. I mean, like, you know, I was on my Disney cruise, and hand to God, they had 5 different versions of blind boxes for Disney pins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's over. Like, the blind boxes have won. Yeah, it's over. Like, it was a fun battle.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it makes it so much more fun.
You don't remember as like a kid going to like that machine where you put in like a few quarters and you're like, what sticker are you going to get, or what little thing you're going to get in that ball? It was all just a randomization, and there's so much like just a small amount of joy as a child just going to that, just using a few quarters to randomly get something that you may or may not love. Like, but when you got something you loved, it was great. So go ahead, Louis. NFT time.
And when you didn't, you traded with your friends, and that was really
exactly
cool.
Yep.
Mike, I think that Nightfall, this is hot take from Louis, I think that Nightfall is going to go down as the pinnacle set for Metazoo. Like, if you think through the history, I think the way that Halloween is themed and the way that the card art is, I think it's just like, I'm not surprised that Halloween was like your second set idea. Obviously, you have to do like the Cryptid Nation, you know, like the intro, the welcome to whatever set, but like. Sure. Halloween seems to be this pinnacle. I'm really curious. I think you, if I remember some of your Discord posts, which I love the updates. It's great to know what the company is doing, what you're doing. Like, I love that. But one of the things I noticed when you were is an increase in like play testing and people to help design the set. I'm really curious on what some of the things that went into that, the time that went into it, and how you came up with even like the thematic side and, you know, the fourth wall effect. Like, just talk to us a little bit about the set as a whole, not the collectible side of it, but the gameplay side. So, you know, I took offense to the people that helped me on Cryptid Nation, that people were like, you know, you can't play Cryptid Nation, when in fact, you know, you could. Obviously there were problems, but it was our first set. Things need to be ironed out. So we went hard on Nightfall. By the way, the reason why people saw that with Cryptid Nation is because they saw the collectability aspect, and for some people, for some reason, people view collectability and playability as mutually exclusive things, which is wild to me. But so with Nightfall, you know, we hired a R&D director, a sub-director, and then we had, I believe, like 24 play testers play tests over the course of, you know, 2 months, basically, right? And it was, you know, they were play testing before Cryptid Nation was released. And the idea was like, all right, we have these volunteers that are super eager. They're metazoologists. Let's have them help us perfect Nightfall, right? And the idea was to test whether or not the foundational mechanics that I put into the base set could actually be sustained for, you know, the second set and still make it viable competitively and all those different things. And overwhelmingly, it seems that the answer is yes. And you know, I'm going to make it a point to make Metazoo the most collectible TCG, but I also want it to be the most competitive as well. And there's no reason why I can't do both if the team is clever enough, if they're hardworking enough, and if we have, you know, enough interest in the community to do both of those things. But I hate the idea that people are like, if it's collectible, it can't be playable. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Well, and you also did things intentionally to help people learn how to play the game. Like, I love on the bottom of the cards. I don't know if my camera's on the bottom. On the bottom of the card, you've added the weaknesses and the strengths, and that's something that's easily missed.
That's super helpful.
It's I can't talk. It's easy to miss that in the rule book when you're learning the game, and you know, when you're trying to play
our first game.
Yeah, it's easy to miss the idea of strengths and weaknesses, and it's hard to memorize those as a new player. Like Pokemon, like it's been ingrained in our brain for 20 whatever I am, 26 years old. I'm 29, so I was trying to do the math, but you know, like it's been ingrained in our brain for all these years what those strengths and weaknesses are, so it's easy to learn that. But like with Metazoo, it's a new game, and I love that you put the strengths and the weaknesses on the bottom. Like it just seems like you guys put a lot of energy into making it more and more playable than Cryptid Nation.
And here's the thing, because we had other separate teams working on the playability and doing the play testing, it was entirely separate from like I interact like every day. We have R&D meetings, and for me, I'm balancing a bunch of stuff, right? I'm balancing the playability, sure. I'm balancing kind of it from a beyond the set perspective. I'm looking at the block, right? Like I want the block to be holistic, and sometimes we'll move really like with Nightfall, we've had some pretty on theme cryptids that were like, let's save this for wilderness, let's save this for UFO, let's save this for seance. And the idea being that it's also a product at the end of the day too. But those decisions don't necessarily impact the R&D aspect at all. Like it's kind of like deciding whether or not a card is going to be holographic or not. That's more of a product idea. Like, will this card be collectible? Will it be highly sought after? But then the R&D just adjusts accordingly, and it's like a 20-minute conversation as to how we can make a holographic card that looks good from a product perspective, also key to the playability, right? And so those things, there's so much synergy between those things. All it takes is someone that's dedicated to actually think about it in a multifaceted way, and we have really talented people who are doing that.
So
that's awesome.
I was on a much better podcast called The Bone Zone last night, and and they asked me, they're like, what do you think Mike's secret sauce is? And I told them, I said, like, my gut is that, I've never met a good executive who has complete control over everything. He hires the right people, trusts them to do their jobs, empowers them to do their jobs well, and goes back to seeing how those parts are all working together.
Yep.
And I think that's what you're just saying, right? It's like, people always ask me, like, when I do consulting jobs, like, what do you do? I'm like, I take power away from executives and put it to people who know what they're doing.
Yep.
I didn't ask you this when we met, Mike, but I suspect that your team of artists are better artists than you are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So like, you need to oversee them, but you need to trust them to do their job well.
Right.
So what I oversee with the artists is, I have an eye for whether or not the art will be iconic. If it's overly complex, then I'll be like, hey guys, look, when someone looks at the art, they have to be able to almost draw it from memory afterwards. So if you have something with 20 segments that no one can count at a glance, maybe reduce it to 4 or 5. So like things like that, like if they overuse color, I'm like, guys, keep it to 3 or 4 colors maximum. So
that's cool.
Again, from a product perspective, but then they do their magic, right? They do the thing that I can do, which is take all of that and create something that is beautiful. So, but without that, without that guidance, or, I guess you could call it leadership, the skill would still be there, but it wouldn't be focused to a kind of a single, like a common cause, right? And that's what I'm there for.
Can I ask about NFTs really now, everybody? Can I ask about NFTs yet?
Go for it.
All right. Your OG NFTs. What do they do?
Don't tell him. Don't tell him, Mike. Make him wait. Make him suffer.
What do we get out of these? What do we get out of these OG NFTs?
So here's what I'm thinking in the immediate sense. What I'm thinking in the immediate sense is two things, so right? If you're an owner of them,
yes, I am, Mike.
I want them to be redeemable for a special alt art version of the card.
Oh,
that's one really simple way. The other way is if you own them on the blockchain, I want you to be able to get first in line for our future NFT launches. That will have, they won't be one of ones. They'll be one of ones, but they'll be like what profile picture, like, basically we're gonna have a bunch of different NFTs coming out. and this will be kind of your way of jumping the line. If we're working under the assumption that these things will sell out in a few seconds or minutes, right?
Oh, they'll sell out in a few seconds.
They'll sell out, Mike.
I can tell you, Mike. We got a Discord server. We'll buy them out in a few seconds or minutes if you want that to happen.
But the thing is,
pretty sure.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, go on, Mitch.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Louis' Discord, like, they own at least half to 75% of all of the.
I would like to say something about that. Somebody was arguing the other day. They were like, Louis, with NFTs, you have to let other people have time to get them. And my response to that is that these NFTs have been on the market for we started buying them 8 months ago. Like we just bought it, a couple at a time and whatever. So like they've been on the market for a while. People just slept on them. And like we had conversations in the Metazoo Discord about it. It's not like we were hiding anything.
Oh yeah, sure. And sorry, go on.
When you say redeemable for a when you say redeemable, I like cardboard, Mike. So when you say redeemable for a card, are you talking like let's say I own a Pizza Bird one, which Pizza Bird is my second favorite cryptid. I turn in the NFT, or like the owners get it, the first owners, the original owners get it, and they get to keep the NFT too.
So my plan is, and this is purely from I'm
ideation.
Yeah,
not official.
When the cards become available, if you own the NFT at that point in time, it has a one-time redeemable exchange. Not exchange. You get to keep the NFT, but you also get the card sent to you.
Louis moving. Louis is going to go to a house with roads. It's over. I'm getting roads.
I am going to put some on my OpenSea so that other people can also partake in that.
I'm sure you'll charge what you paid. Is that right, Louis?
No, that's not possible. The gas fees are. I paid a lot of money in gas fees.
He's like, I've been paying more gas in NFTs than I have for my own car.
I'll make it open to you all at 10,000 times what I paid. Thank you later. Put it in the comments how much you
I'll
appreciate.
I'll give you a nice sale of 10,000 a month.
That's crazy because those
awesome.
are. And Mike, we're talking like the actual cards, not like like.
Yeah, so I'm going to be tournament legal cards. But they'll be basically alternative arts with, if I can talk to the Mintable about this, maybe even with a Mintable stamp on them and stuff like. So the idea though is that's
he can't handle it.
That's ideation. Like we're just we're spitballing here. The other thing is so once you redeem them for a card, how do they maintain value? That's where that place in line thing comes in, right? Where you can participate much more easily and much more securely in future NFT drops. So
that's awesome.
And the Sotheby's NFT is super interesting, but I think having kind of a 10,000 NFT release of randomized Mothman, for instance, with a lower floor, but kind of unlimited ceiling is going to be much more attractive to people who have the ability to buy booster box in their budget, but not so much, house. A house. Yeah.
So has there been any thought about moving it from Ethereum to like a different network to help gas fees, or is it just the way it is?
So standard for NFTs.
No, I mean, so that's now. There's a bunch now.
So that's a really good question that I cannot answer.
Okay.
But it's a good question. And it's so good that I think about it constantly and talk about it constantly. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that, when I bought mine, and this was a while ago. This was when Louis first called me and told me how to do everything. Well, shout out to Louis.
You're welcome.
Shout out to Louis.
Well, first, let's give those shout outs to where the shout outs should go.
Shout out to Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew. I'm gonna have to give Andrew a very, very big tip as a thank you for the
did Andrew help you guys too?
Yeah.
Andrew's the one who was like, hey man, we should buy Metazoo NFTs. And I was like, I don't know what an NFT is. And he was like, it's a digital collectible. And I said, I like holding cardboard. And he said, no, I think we should do this. And then we went for it. I was very easy to convince, as I am with most things.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just like, even when we bought ours a while ago, and Ethereum was not quite as hot as it is now, I think I paid $80 to $100 in gas. I think now it's like $100 and something in gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that world. What I do know is that Mike is there a potential? I've heard other, again, I'm not trying to convince you to do anything, but I've heard other NFTs, they throw like exclusive like parties. Like, I think I was like, dude, can you imagine like an exclusive, and like after you did the main release, not with just like the 17 people that own these NFTs, but like with like the the big one, you could do like some sort of like it gets you access to a special collecticon or whatever event, so something like that. Where it's
one thing that I was thinking about, not to cut you off,
please do,
is a physical party, right? Where if you bring a sample card, you can at that party redeem that sample card for an NFT version of it. And so, it can only be, at that party that you redeem it. And, you have to have a sample card actually to get into the party, so on and so forth. But the idea would be, I enjoy the idea of sample cards continuing to participate in the Metazoo culture, right?
For sure.
And so that's, and it'll be kind of like black tie, so on and so forth. That's just
these can be.
How about a black hoodie? How about a black hoodie?
Black tie and
how about I'll dress up?
Cheek for me, actually. If that's possible.
We'll make custom May the Zoo be with you t-shirts with a black tie on them. How about that?
I have a tuxedo t-shirt if that counts.
Yeah,
that's actually true.
You guys are shambles. I'm like black tie. Then I'm down. I'll bring my black bordered cards. Let's go.
No,
we got George over here. Like, if it's not a Hawaiian shirt, I'm not in.
I want to address what will be in the comment section. Which is why does a TCG do things like NFTs and blah 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 and all the whining? And I want to answer that because I'm passionate about this.
Sure.
I love the idea that like people like Gary Vee, people like Nat Kalish, people like people who are in that space will see Metazoo from an NFT space. Props and Drops, a great podcast about mostly NFT collectibles and whatever. The way that Metazoo is casting a shotgun wide to all these different areas and brings in all these people into the TCG world, and like right. I think this is what you're seeing in Magic the Gathering, right? They're realizing that the business model of just TCG, and they're doing it in a really awful way, but the business model of just a TCG isn't wide enough, so they're making Fortnite cards and that
Ooh, speaking of Fortnite, anyways, yeah, go on.
No, interrupt. Please do.
No, please. Luke, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go on.
No. You can go.
I forgot what I was going to say. Like smoke through keyhole, yeah.
But
it's a collectible card game. There's a C in there. There's other things other than cardboard can be collectible. Like everybody gets, and I'm sure you see this more often than we do. Even if there's a way to complain, if there's a way to complain about Metazoo, they're going to find it. And I always tell people, put it to the test. I'm like, I'll buy your cards right now. I will PayPal you today the market rate of your collection. Mm-hmm. You seem like you're really worried about where this is going. You don't seem to like it very much. I got your back. I'll buy your collection at market rate right now. You know what? Nobody's ever taken me up on that. It's very, very strange. I don't understand it. I've offered. You've never taken me up on it. I don't get it.
I do wonder if, if you go back into the heyday of Pokemon, right? Mm-hmm. And the TCG came out after the video game, right? I wonder if you had video game enthusiasts who are like, this is going to kill the culture around the game. This is not something that, we're interested in. I'm sure that there were Pokemon purists that looked at any other vertical that Pokemon was going to do and did, from plushies to whatever. And they were like, this is hurting the brand. When Pokemon was like, well, this is the brand. And so for me, it's like, who am I? It's actually kind of arrogant for me to hear the fans say that they want plushies and pins of these characters that they view as beloved now, right? And say, that's not how you are going to experience the brand. You can only do it through the cards. This isn't even a topic of discussion. And for a lot of people, they're going to be like, this isn't something that I want to invest in emotionally if I can't kind of have the full gamut of emotional commitment in every product possible, right? Imagine if people couldn't wear Metazoo shirts, if they couldn't show, like I've seen people at Comic-Con who were both wearing Metazoo like backpacks or, merchandise. And that was the point of conversation I'd be sitting there signing cards and they'd be talking like for 30 minutes to an hour just about Metazoo, but then about everything else, right? But the initial, the genesis of that conversation was a shared love for something that they both collected in different ways. And I don't know, it just seems odd to me that people get angry and defensive about moving outside of the TCG sphere, especially when they say that Metazoo doesn't have a strong enough IP outside of the TCG sphere to justify having a TCG. It's oxymoronic.
Literally how you do it.
Yeah.
Your backpack was the hit of the cruise. Everywhere I had my backpack, getting on the boat, getting off the boat, showing it to people, everybody asked about it. People loved it. People like to me, that is what makes Metazoo special. I took your team out for lunch at MegaCon when Louis ditched me, and we were opening a box of first edition there, and the waiter stops. He's like, "Oh my God, what is that? I want it." And he follows you guys on Instagram right away. Didn't know anything about it other than the artwork, and he saw us all smiling while opening it, and he followed it right there. He felt connected to the community, connected to the cards. That's what makes Metazoo special. It's that instant connection to not just to the cryptids, it's to this way you interpret
something familiar.
The cryptids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And every time we do another product vertical, we're building a bridge. And people are like, if you look at the NFT space, the NFTs are scrambling to find an IP justification for people spending millions and millions of dollars on NFTs, right? That they will release an NFT, but then they'll have like almost sometimes, most of the time actually retroactively, they'll release storylines that go along with it. And the way that I view, but the NFT is the core part of their brand, right? But they have to justify it with this ecosystem. We're just coming into the NFT space, for instance, having already established a brand outside of it, right? And so it's coming in from the opposite direction, but like that's okay too. Like, and it's okay for someone to start with NFTs and then move into the TCG space if they wanted to. Like, why is it that if you look at Pokemon, they had their starting point in video games, but why is that a more valid, and then moving into TCG, why is that a more valid starting point than starting at the TCG and moving into other things? I just don't understand. So, and no one's been able to give me a legitimate answer on that front.
And let's be clear here: if you started it the opposite, they'd still complain about the exact same thing.
The difference is the internet, and now we all have soapboxes to complain. Yeah. And we're probably guilty about that on this podcast. I mean,
we don't soapbox.
Oh, we soapbox.
But so like these are things I think deeply about, because I do have moments of panic where I'm like, maybe these things are right, like maybe these comments are right, like, and then I step back and I'm like, people love Metazoo, and I have to look at the positive more often than the negative, but obviously it's hard because I go into comments on videos and I read the negativity, and the negativity is so much more passionate oftentimes than the positivity, because the positivity, it's like, it's so easy to give a compliment, but like with the negativity, they're really trying to like do damage. And so they go much deeper and oftentimes personal. So, that's it, the negativity stands out a lot more, but there's certainly a lot of love in the Metazoo community.
So when I teach, I always assign one article. I assign more than one, but the article I most enjoy is called Marketing Myopia. And it talks about the difference between selling and marketing. And marketing is basically listening to your customer and giving them what they need, giving what they want. And that's what you're doing. You are listening to your customers who say, I want this. And you're like, okay, we can do that. Like, like I'm sure, like, I don't think the watch was your idea. I'm sure it was a customer's idea. The plush, you were like, oh, okay, I can do a plush. I can do an NFT.
Yep.
A healthy community is a relationship with the company versus a dictation from the company.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing well.
Let me be honest. If I didn't listen, if I weren't in chat listening to what people said, we would probably just be a TCG at this point. Like, I had big plans for the brand, but seeing people say, let's do these other things has given me the confidence to pull the trigger on them. Yeah. And overwhelmingly, while the negative comments do stand out, the numbers are a better reflection of the positivity. For sure. And overwhelmingly, these other products that we're releasing, they're just huge successes, and people love them. And that's the exciting thing is people are so excited about Metazoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just going to follow up on that.
Go ahead.
There are about 1,001 new ideas that come out every week, or new products that you're putting out.
Yeah.
Or I guess building to support the IP. I mean, is it the community kind of driving some of that? Is it, you mentioned that you've had big ideas since the start. I know George has kind of mentioned that he had a conversation with you and he was like, I'm all in. Like Mike's, I'm all in. Roadmap that he has, like, I'm fully behind, and I want to support that and the vision he has. I mean, is that just something that you kind of thought from the start, like this, I want this to be big. This is kind of the grand vision, and the community kind of supports and validates that? I mean, yeah, where are all these ideas coming from? And I feel like every week there's just something I would have never thought that y'all would have done, you're doing, and it seems to work really successfully. So
I have what I call the 55. I have 55 product verticals that I've planned for. And we're, I think, in 15 of them, 15 to 17, depending on, well, more like 20 if you include things that haven't been announced yet. But
like what?
it's all a matter of what doors open, right? Because all of a sudden things will become possible because of sales that are well known or public in another vertical, right? And then conversations happen and people talk, and the world gets a little bit smaller. And once that happens, a new product vertical will show up and become a possibility. And then lo and behold, I already have all that stuff planned in a spreadsheet somewhere, or in a Google Doc. I have the idea fleshed out, and I can just send it to them the same day. It also helps, sorry, go on.
Real talk. Is the UFO set going to be the first TCG played in space by SpaceX?
No,
but first it's gonna be wilderness.
But I should give Elon a call.
But
because that's what I'm hearing right now.
But Louis, it is cheaper to send something up into space, especially paper, than you might think. Especially with all the satellites going up. I'm just saying.
Starlink 101.
It wouldn't be a UFO set without going beyond the atmosphere.
You've got the Tesla, and then right behind the Tesla, you've got Metazoo cards.
Yeah, like a sleigh, like a
Mothman's flying up there.
Yeah, it's actually the plushies. He's going to launch those up there and let them explore.
Yep. So I mean, look, like for me, it's. I just have to be as creative as possible. Everything else will fall into place so long as the community wants it, right?
Right.
And so far, with our head of product, Andy, he's as much of a early TCG super fan, stan as I am. We're just slaying it, and he knows. I mean, this guy, Andy, our head of product, is the kind of guy that can rebuild the like old card ass like vending machines from scrap, like that were in Japan, like 25 years ago. He's that kind of nerd, and so him and I just geek out, and we're like, let's do this. And he has like connections at like all sorts of interesting places. So we're just starting. Like for me, I will feel secure and not even then, when all 55 verticals are fleshed out and Metazoo's touched on all of them.
That's cool.
That I anticipate that to happen by 2023 is my hope. So I'm giving myself a little bit over a year to flesh those things out.
I'm gonna need some more money, I think. NFTs really do work out.
100K. That's a
So yeah, that's just, you know, this stuff is, you know, I don't mean to hijack the conversation, but like,
no,
for me,
it's yours.
If I didn't do this stuff, then it wouldn't be worth doing anything to me, right? Like if I were to half-ass this or say, or to limit Metazoo and say that, hey, it's only going to be TCG and maybe a plus year or two, then like, why would I dedicate my life to this? And that's what I've done. I've left a very lucrative career to pivot into this space, and I want to create something that's on the level of, you know, and I'll say this and people will make fun of me in the comments, but I literally want to make something on the same level as DC or you know, Marvel or Disney or any of these, or Pokemon, right? Like I want to be competitive with Pokemon.
That's awesome.
I think that's great. I mean, like, you know, I think you're on your way to it, right? I mean, like, listen, like I've told this to everybody. I have more people waiting for Nightfall than any other set I've ever carried. But you know, the only ones that are close were ironically Monarch and Double Masters. Hope your path is a lot more like Double Masters than Monarch. It is, you know, I've never seen demand like this. Ever. And people always say like, oh, it's a spec, you know, it's for specs. And I'm like, listen, like Mike has printed more boxes from the first 3 sets of Flesh and Blood combined. The problem's not supply. The problem's demand. It's through the roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys a figure that, you know, has not been verified, but is speculated to be true. Let's just say that the demand for Nightfall was well over 10 times what supply was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Based on orders placed.
Yeah. So let me. I got two last questions here. I think. So I heard the Tops drop went pretty well. I think it sold out, didn't it?
Yeah. So the Tops, it sold 50,000 boxes in a. So they
and their servers caught on fire and the world burned around the entire Tops building, is my understanding. Is that basically right?
We crashed their admin servers, so they couldn't even check if it was sold out. So I was talking to our rep there, and I was like, "So have we sold out?" And he's like, "Honestly, I don't know. We can't even get our email to work right now." So you know, that kind of thing is you know. So I'm speaking to Tops again today, and we're working on another product. And, you know, this time the idea is that I'm pushing for Chrome, right? And, you know, let's just say that, you know, with Metazoo, Tops does a lot of really good stuff with established brands really well. And, you know, there are natural inroads with Metazoo that connect to those well-established brands.
Is there a plan to get Tops Chrome into LGSs maybe?
That is certainly, they have their distribution networks, and I'm assuming that they do distribute to local game stores. I will say that. I can't speak for Tops though, obviously.
Oh my gosh! If you can get Chrome and Sapphire, that'd be a Mothman.
So as somebody who's not in sports,
I have no
Sapphire
clue what he's talking about.
hot set right now. It's just like it is.
What is
Sapphire?
Sapphire, and that's baseball cards.
It's everything. They
Okay.
It really works for baseball. They make it work for everything. It's in NASCAR and all that stuff now.
Okay.
A Mothman pink Sapphire card would be $20 pregillion.
I mean, we're talking. So we're talking Chrome. I'm not sure if it'd be Chrome Sapphire or whatever, but I could push for that if you think that's worthwhile.
Chrome is a great safe place to start because everybody carries it and everybody loves it, and it's an accessible price point.
Okay, so yeah, like it's what I view it as is it's the floor of their premium products, right?
Yeah.
So you know, and again, I want this. I really want the Tops boxes to be accessible while still premium. So I think Chrome for me is like awesome. I signed, by the way, 2 days ago not 2 days ago, I think it was Friday morning, I signed the 10 Michael Topps cards that are numbered that will be put into the Chrome's boxes that sold out. So there are 10 of them out there.
Into my box, right? Into my box, right?
Yeah. They're all going to George's. Or sorry.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
Please send them to George.
George doesn't need any more.
Just send George 1,000 boxes and say, all right, they're in 10 of these.
Yeah, there you go.
George opens all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, and there are none of them. So I'm so excited about Topps. I grew up with Topps Pokemon, and it was a thing that nowadays people slept on it, and because the sports cards have exploded, and people are opening up this old Pokemon product, it was so when they basically picked up the phone, it was like a dream for me. Now I know that a lot of people didn't get the boxes that they wanted, but the idea is that this is a very, very long-term relationship with them. So there'll be plenty of opportunities.
Well, and they're looking for new IP, I'm sure. And they're losing baseball obviously in 2024, 2025 is what the news reports have mentioned. So they'll have printing time, hopefully. And, that's something that's in short supply right now.
It's certainly in short supply.
That's awesome. I think Topps is a great partner. I think Topps is amazing.
As funny as it is to say this, I actually think Metazoo just demolishing their servers is a positive thing.
Oh, sure.
Because to them, they're wow, an egregious demand for this.
It's proof of concept.
Exactly. It's validating that, we need to continue to do this and build this relationship.
Well, originally they were we should do 3,000 boxes. I said, guys, if we do 3,000 boxes, people will find my house and they will burn it down. People will riot. They will riot. They'll say forced scarcity, all that kind of stuff. And so they bumped it up to 50,000, which is, and then, they're like, hey, look, if we'll give this 14 to 15 days to sell out. If it doesn't, we'll look into, distribution, yada, yada. Right. And I was like, okay. And then, so
in 5 seconds.
Yeah. So, it is the Metazoo fans they just want anything that's Metazoo right now. And so, and I think that they feel the same way about the Topps collab that I do. Right. So, a lot of them view, that collab as a start of something that will allow them to do with Metazoo what they did with Pokemon, and people just love that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and also there's ways you can grow with Topps, right? They have Bowman, they have, which is where the Sapphire is. They have all these other brands that bring in different audiences. There's also collaborations, right? There's, they have a bunch of race car sets already. There's ways to integrate Metazoo into their product line and to integrate their other products into yours. And I think that's really exciting to see.
And you know what? From what I've seen, I think that there's professional athletes from, I think, 6 or 7 different sports that really like Metazoo. And they all happen yeah. So anyways, the potential is definitely there, and I'm excited to see where we bring it.
There's a Michael Jordan in the Facebook group. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Not the same guy.
Just don't be LeBron James. I have one request.
It might not be the same guy, but we've never seen those two guys interacting with each other on Facebook. So,
true.
Just true.
Things could get a little messy. You never know.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I keep asking me questions. I'm here, and I'm loving this. So, you guys have me for as long as you need.
I appreciate it. Is there... Do you what product do you think will be the first into the big box stores? Do you have any idea into that?
We're working on an exclusive blister pack.
Oh, cool.
With pins.
So I thought, would the Topps product not be into big box?
Oh, that actually might be. I'm not sure.
I'm sure MJ Holdings, which is Topps #1 distributor by a mile.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I don't have any insight into that. We're working with another party on that.
Okay,
but the idea would be our play into the big box is definitely being facilitated via our pin partners, so pin club and stuff. Like they're being a massive boon to kind of our efforts to get into big box.
That's cool.
Fantastic partners, by the way.
Yeah. Seems like a really nice quality product too, just based on at least the images.
Oh my gosh, it's so like they do all the pins for Disney, and so like it's just the highest quality that you can imagine. And then also, Disney's they go to the warehouses and they make sure everything's up to code and all this other kind of stuff. So like it's not only high quality, it's also as ethical as it possibly can be, right?
That's
That's also a really awesome thing.
A benefit from working with some of those companies that are, high tier and have their stuff
to kind of cover their butts a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure. Because we could have gone with our own, Chinese
enamel pen
or whatever, But for me, like I said, and George will talk about this later, but like it's super important for me to collaborate with people who are established in the industry that they're part of. So
if you want to be best in the business, you got to have everything best in the business, right? Like if you have a bad product, that will be what people remember.
Yeah.
But it's not even that. Like if you so other TCGs, they have moved to doing everything in-house. If I could do things more cheaply, if I could do them entirely in-house, or I had the option of collaborating with Pin Club and making less money but ultimately having a better product with more reach and establishing that as like a long-term partner, every time I'm going to take the partner for sure.
For sure.
I want to make sure we understand this right. Like let's use Pin Club as an example. Would you say the goal is more to get pins into the hands of Metazoo fans or get pin fans into Metazoo?
Both.
Okay.
Because the Metazoo fans, like the true fans, they're gonna buy across the product verticals.
Yeah.
But
they have everything.
It's true, actually. I mean,
it's so true. It's so bad.
But until that bridge is made, the huge Disney pin collectors, and there are a lot of them, they're not going to take that leap into Metazoo unless there's something that can translate Metazoo into a language that they understand, and that's going to be their collectible of choice. Yeah. And so, they're going to see that Pin Club is selling, Metazoo product, and they traditionally bought, Demon Slayer or Bleach or Naruto pins from them in the anime sector. But then they're going to be like, what's this Metazoo thing? I've heard my friend talk about it. Like, oh, there are pins of this now. Like, let me look earnestly into this. And then, of course, all the pins come with cards. And so that's an introduction to our core part of the brand. And then it's very easy for them to, it's almost like each of these collaborations is it's like creating a Rosetta Stone for those different collectible universes.
That's cool.
Would you say that the different verticals that you're looking at pursuing, and you keep talking about a bridge, so those are kind of building a bridge, is that to support or navigate users towards, I say users, sorry, I work in product world, collectors and individuals who like Metazoo? Is that just kind of to orient them towards Metazoo, the IP, or is it to orient them towards kind of y'all's core product, which is the TCG or the collectible card game? Like, what is that bridge kind of navigating towards?
All that, right? So you might have Metazoo fans who love Metazoo, who were originally pin collectors, and they've been introduced to Metazoo, and they pick up everything, right? But you also might have those that they like, I love the Metazoo IP, but I don't like cards, or I don't like plushies, I just like pins. But guess what?
Right.
That's totally cool too, because we have those too. And so the idea is not to sell everything, is not to sell everyone on everything, it's to sell everyone on what they love. And we just have to touch as many things as possible in order to do that.
Something I've come to appreciate about Metazoo is the way it lets you express yourself through your product lines. Yeah. And that's something that I wish more CCGs did. I loved wearing my Metazoo backpack to get on, around town. Like I'll be bringing with me to National. I think it's.
I really want to go to nationals just to see you
They'll love
in your
everyone
custom
to do.
Yeezys.
Somebody
with
in
your backpack.
somebody in the Flesh and Blood Wall Street chat was actually talking about the artwork and how originally they were like skeptical about the artwork in Metazoo, as a lot of people in the Flesh and Blood world started out with or whatever. And they said, but now I've started to realize that Mike was actually ahead of the game, as like all these famous artists and famous musicians are starting to release product lines that like look a lot like the style of Metazoo, and like that you were kind of ahead of the game, which is pretty cool.
I have people in the NFT space reaching out to Metazoo to make their cards for them.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
You tell me you're going to work on some punks? Just saying.
Well, for me, it is.
Luke can't handle this combo, dude.
Metazoo, like where the lore makes sense, will collaborate with these other things. Like I view the Metazoo universe as being, like I said, extensive in its properties, not just the core IP, but things that branch off of it. But like, there's no real connection for like CryptoPunks to Metazoo, right?
Sure.
And so,
well, not yet, but you can make it work.
The only connection is they're both meta.
And the lesson
they're
that
both
I want to
meta, and that's it.
Is the lesson that I want to do is facilitate the creation of competitors for Metazoo, right?
Sure.
So I'll take those conversations, I'll pick their brains, but for the most part, unless it makes sense from a lore perspective and like the universes connect in a way that makes sense to our fans, like I'm not going to create competitors in the TCG space. Like it doesn't make sense in that regard. But there are definitely conversations to have.
Going back to the TCG space, I had a guy reach out to me who played. I can't remember if he won or he played in one of the events that was at I think it was in New York, right? The at Collecticon in New York
City Con, yeah.
And it was cool. He showed me. I remember. I think he got a trophy and the play mat and all that stuff. Last time we talked a little bit about organized play and supporting the LGS. I'm curious. Has there been any headroom made on that front? And what are your current thoughts and verticals on the LGS and supporting like in-store play?
So we have a kit that is going to be releasing in November.
Oh wow!
And we've actually put aside allocation of theme decks that aren't shrink wrapped. But they still have their security seals on them. And so we have about 14,000 of those that we're going to be putting into kits and selling at a massive discount, pretty much at cost to local game stores, so that they can do organized play without really having to worry about the secondary market itch. Which is fine for everything else, but at the end of the day, like short of like opening the product for them, we don't want to make it easy for them to backdoor these products. Right? We want them to get the kits and to do a tournament with them. Basically, we are.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on. Sorry, George.
Something that Fab has done very well is with these kits, and they basically say if I catch you selling them. It's kind of like what you do if you see me selling over retail. You say I'm going to break into your house and shoot you. And that's, the threat is real. And like that is what Fab does with their OP kits. So like if I see you selling a part of your OP kit, you're cut off.
George, I don't have to break in. I have a key, remember?
That's true. That's true. I apologize. Anytime.
But the other thing is we have an app/website that we're going to be releasing where you can train a metazoologist at your store.
Oh, cool.
And then you can submit results from what we're calling sanctioned play. And that'll go into a world ranking system where players will be ranked. You can only earn a certain number of points at the local game store level before you have to go to higher level sanctioned tournaments, right? So we're starting to make what I would call we're starting to make headway in that space. But until we have more, sounds stupid, but until we have more cards like in the hands of players, it's just not going to be possible. So we're really waiting and banking on Unlimited coming in December and January. before we make a huge organized play push. Which, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, there's a certain optics issue associated with like, hey, like we're making a huge organized play push when like cards are too expensive. So, you know, we want to make the right cards affordable. And when I say right cards affordable, you know, there's a lot of depth to that statement, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. That makes sense. And it's cool to give, you know, I think your theme deck thing, like a store could then throw an event that's, hey, theme deck only, and we have theme decks for people who can't afford them. And you can...
And we'll hold, a lot of stores will do this, you know, we'll hold back, let's say, 36 boxes. And I'll be like, okay, if you participate, you can do your theme deck, plus you get a free pack, and you can work it into your deck any way you want.
Yeah.
And by the way, for us, part of that app website will be once you submit scores, and it'll also have like, you know, you have to submit like photos of the event, so on and so forth. You get on the nice list, which is again the list that we hand to the distributors and say, hey, these stores are dope. You know, be nicer to them from an allocation perspective. Because again,
you have it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
You have a naughty or nice list.
Well, I'm calling it a nice list by proxy because of the creation of a spectrum. It's also a naughty list, but
right.
You know, we are asking people to submit feedback on stores that are doing things properly. Wink, wink. Right. So the constant feedback is necessary to improve. We're not saying that we have a perfect system, but hopefully we can create a perfect self-correcting mechanism, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know we got to leave here in a second, but like, I'll just say that, like, you know, at MSRP, which is what you ask us to sell at, it is the highest margin box in my store.
Yep.
It is the highest margin box in my store. And the fastest selling. Like, I'll sell. I
can't even put a box on my site right now. Yep. A bot will just snap it.
I mean, I'm gonna get my boxes. I'm getting my boxes on Friday or Monday. I'll be sold out by Friday or Monday. And like, if people are charging 2 times MSRP or whatever, it's just greed, right? Because like, it is the highest margin box by a mile in my store.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary to charge over retail. You know, if you know, like the problem with like some of these Pokemon products is the MSRP. They don't really want you to charge that because there's no margin if you charge MSRP when you pay what the distributor charges you. That's not the case with Metazoo. That's not the case.
You know why? Do you know why? It's because I charge the distributors very, very little. My margins on my end are very small, so that it's still. So that the distributors don't have to charge a lot to the local game stores, and the local game stores have good margin with the MSRP.
That's probably one of the benefits from having so many different revenue streams with the different products too. Where you
interesting.
So
that was my immediate thought too, Louis. I was like, oh, that's where the benefit of multiple verticals come in.
My favorite argument of all by Metazoo is that this is a pump and dump by Mike, and I'm like, I'm not sure he could do a worse job of a pump and dump if I've humanly tried. Well, I suspect there is a non-zero chance I will make more off of Metazoo than off of Nightfall than you will, Mike. I'll be honest with you. If like my rough back of the napkin math is like possibly correct.
Well, yeah, it is good that we have other revenue streams. I'll say that.
Yes, I mean, like,
it makes sense.
The thing. If I wanted to pump and dump, Nightfall would have been the step for that. I could have sold direct to consumer all 50,000 boxes, and I would have made millions of dollars.
Yes.
And that's all I need from a pump and dump. In fact, doing it via the distributors constitutes a massive risk because there's no guarantee that the set would actually endure or promote longevity in the overall brand. So it's possible that I could have released Nightfall. The fans would have hated it. Thank God they love it. And I would have been left with, a beggar's cup, because I would have come out of this basically making no money. I'm staying at a red rooftop inn, and like there's literally a cigarette vending machine outside of my door, right? Like,
that's where I stay. That's fine, Mike. Don't let them bring you down. That's where I stay when I travel too. It's all good.
But I guess my point is like, for me, I'm really in this for the long term, right. and I think my policies show that.
Yep,
there are easier ways to make money than doing this. I'll say that. And
the haters are always gonna hate.
Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna be torn apart in the comment section. Even saying this right now, I'm torn apart.
I doubt it.
People are gonna be like,
great.
They might give you crap for saying you're a Red Roof fan.
Yeah, George is gonna jump on his alternative account and just like rip me a new one.
That's right. I'm like,
that actually makes a lot of sense. He's been is that Jorge? Is that who that is?
Louis has seen my tech prowess.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to make an account. And then mine is. He's like, wait, you're allowed to have multiple emails? They're not like social security numbers?
He's not even that old.
Emails.
That's the issue. You're not old. You're just not tech literate.
He looks old. That's the issue.
Was that payback for earlier?
That's true. When he basically called me poor, he was like, look at that shack you live in, Louis.
It's much more that like you live in a house without roads. I don't know how I'm going to describe this to you. You're like,
at least it's afloat now.
Amazon can't find your house and you're yelling at me. It ain't my fault, boss.
Let's wrap this up. Mike, thank you so much for being on the podcast and the Metazoo 1 hour and 11 minute.
There's no way we're doing a full podcast.
It was awesome, man. Thank you for being here. We appreciate the transparency and the honesty and the ability to ask you some conversations and ask you some questions of things that we discuss. And man, congratulations on the design of the set and the release of it. And the next couple of weeks, I know people getting the product, and just congratulations, man. Make sure you take some time to enjoy it. And
for sure,
we already started working on Wilderness, but yeah, you're right.
I saw you were play testing it already.
Yeah, well, so we've been play testing for a few weeks now. We started the art technically yesterday.
So, it's a new artist too, right?
Oh yeah, so we have a new artist who was actually her claim to fame was doing alternative or extended arts on Pokemon cards. And like Fortune wrote articles on her because of like really popular artists. So
Mike can't, or not Mike. George can't handle it. I've been loving just seeing y'all's reactions this entire time. It's been really good.
Well, listen, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to talk. Let's do it again for Wilderness.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Mike. May the zoo be with you.
Mike, how do we end videos on the channel?
So usually you guys insult each other, right?
We always end with "May the zoo be with you."
That's the full hour.
Yeah.
May the zoo be with you, Mike.
Yeah, also with you.
There you go. You got it. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. Seriously,
appreciate you, Mike.
So right. Thank you.